You always need to have a secret crisis guy. Number 8, don't drive first class until you have $10 million in a bank account. I see so many people spending $2,000 on a flight where they can spend $400. Listen, I'm 6'4", 6'5", 240, and do you know how many times till today I've paid first class? 0. I don't pay first class. Other people pay for my first class, but I don't pay first class. I've been paid first class, I've flown first class many, many times because I have the miles or people pay for my flight. I don't pay first class. And why is that? Here's how I did the math. Now, obviously I can afford to do it, no problem. But here's how I did the math. You're trying to tell me $2,000 for a first class flight, and I can get $500 for the same flight. That $1,500 times 9 flights in a month, that's 9,000. That's 9 times what? $1,500 is $13,500, some number like that. You know what I can do with that number? That's 4 employees. That's marketing. That's expansion. There's that over a year. That's $200,000, $180,000. Why am I going to waste that money? That's an executive I can bring in. That's 2 incredible employees I can bring in.
You know, one of the things that human being underestimate dramatically is the capacity to get great at something if they're totally immersed in it, totally laser focused on something. You are way more powerful than you know you are if you're a crazy cycle access laser focus on anything. Even if there is something that you're totally unprepared for, humans have unreal capacity to get great at things even if they don't have a natural talent for, if they're immersed in it, and to learn something and acquire a ton of knowledge in a short period of time as well.
I don't pay first class. Other people pay first class. Once you get 10 million bucks and you want to do it, that's great. At that point, you may want to get yourself a private jet, but don't fly first class. Next, comp plan. Let me explain to you what I mean by comp plan. So, no matter what country you live in, okay, I get emails from 100 plus countries around the world, and some of you guys and I talk through your communistic system, how you're upset, and you ask me what to do, and I tell you if it's not going to change, you have to leave. You have to leave a communistic regime you're a part of. Some of you are in socialistic places, France, taxes, Spain. You're upset with the taxes being at where it's at, and I tell you, if you don't see the horizon changing, you need to adjust. But regardless of where you're at, rule number 1 about your comp plan. Your comp plan of whatever country you live in is your taxes. Study how you get taxed because that's your comp plan. And let me explain to you why the comp plan in America does so well. A lot of people say things like this. They'll say, you know what? I can't believe the tax structure in America benefits business owners. And you know, why is it that they benefit business owners? Because business owners create jobs. If you created jobs, we'd give you a tax benefit. If there wasn't a tax benefit, an incentive for business owners, then who's going to create jobs for all these millions of people that need jobs? So you may say, well, Pat, if the incentives for business owners, shouldn't I be a business owner? Yes. Every single episode's about you becoming an entrepreneur. Yes, you ought to be a business owner. You ought to be an entrepreneur because it benefits you in your comp plan. It benefits you in your comp plan. And position yourself properly by knowing what your comp plan is. Rule number 10, end of the world mentality. Listen, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, Susie Orman, Dave Ramsey, whatever these names you want to go through, all of these names, put them all together. You know what they get paid to do? They get paid to sell crisis. Because if it happens, you got to be ready for it. Okay? And so what happens a lot of times is people get afraid and they think it's the end of the world. And like the 2008 when the market crisis took place, the market went all the way down to 6,000 some, Dow Jones did, everybody started pulling their money out. It's at $21,000 today, 21,000 points today. Imagine if you left the money in. How much compounding money was lost? Simply because you thought it was the end of the world. Simply because you thought there was a nuclear world that was going to happen all over the world. By the way, let me explain to you. If truly a nuclear war is going to happen, do you really think your money matters? Come on. We're not going to exist. So you got to act as if there's no nuclear war that's going to take place and panic so much when everybody tells you everything. And you got to learn how to manage those times when 90% of the world thinks it's the end of the world. You got to be ready. So how do you do that? Let me explain. I was part of the community that it's always the end of the world until I realized how you become wealthy is during this time. During this time when it's the end of the world, you know who wins? Those who have cash. This is why it's important to have cash set aside. And I'm not talking boredom money. I'm talking cash set aside when it's the end of the world for you to buy stuff. Every time crisis takes place, a lot of people become wealthy. A lot of people become wealthy because everything's on sale. Everything's on sale when there's crisis. People sell their exotics because they can't afford it. People sell their artwork for 1/5 of a price. Homes sell for 1/2 of a price. Investments, all these things is for sale during the time when there's the end of the world type of mentality. So you got to have a strategy for this time. Some say market's about to tank again in the next 2-3 years. I don't know if it is going to tank in the next 2-3 years. Here's what I do know. It's going to tank in the next 20 years, and I'm ready for it. I have to be ready for it because there's going to be opportunities. You also got to be ready for it. Number 11, study your politicians, especially your president. Let me explain to you why. You got to know what your politician and your local community is going to do and what their philosophies are. Here's why you need to know their philosophies. If their philosophy is to do heavy-duty taxing on you, you need to adjust accordingly. If their philosophy is to cut down taxes, you need to adjust accordingly. People ask me, Pat, what am I going to do with Trump? Start a business. Taxes are being cut. Go make your millions of dollars in the next 4 years. And if it's 8 years, go make your money and adjust. Everything's about adjustment. But you can't not know what their philosophies are. You need to know the philosophies of the politicians in your community. Number 12, study smart investors, but don't be too religious about them. Like, for instance, you ought to read everything Warren Buffett's got. Read every single thing Warren Buffett's got. Every single thing. Read any of the books that he's got, go read them. Because what he's going to teach you is his way of thinking, his mindset. He's going to teach you the way he's thinking. Like some people said, why did Warren Buffett spend $35 million to buy silver 6 years ago? And why did he all of a sudden, why does he not do any technology and stays away with it? You know, and why does he? These are philosophies. The thing that you got to respect about Warren Buffett, when he says, I don't do technology, he didn't do technology. So he stuck to a philosophy long enough until it worked. Study smart investors.
Invest in yourself. It pays the best interest. In order to succeed, you must first believe you can. Some people predict the future and some people create their own. Since we cannot change the circumstances, but we can change ourselves. We can change what we do. Remember what you have, but the moment you've attracted it by the person you became. Few little principles here. Once you start to understand this, it starts to explain so much. The best way to predict your future is to create it, not from the known, but from the unknown. What thoughts do you want to fire and what thought do you want to hire in your brain? What behaviors do you want to demonstrate in one day?
Number 13, play your game, don't compare. Let me explain. This is extremely problematic to a lot of people because let's just say on this doubles game, you're here. And let's just say your cousin is here. Why are you comparing yourself to him? You need to play your doubles game. Let's say you're here. Let's say your best friend is here. It's not the same game. He's 4 doubles ahead of you. It's not the same game. You just got to make sure you play your game. You can't say I'm going to play my game at the level of what the other guy's at, because when you do it that way, you make reckless decisions and you lose a double. You don't want to lose doubles. You want to gain doubles. I don't know if I hope I'm making sense to you. You don't want to go backwards, and anytime you focus on this guy, you sometimes go backwards. Focus on your game, focus on your strategies, focus on your time horizon, focus on your risk tolerance, and play according to that game. Your vision may not be to be a billionaire. Your vision may not be to go out there and do something very big. Your vision may not be to be a person that's got 150 million bucks. Your vision may not be to be a decamillionaire. Your vision may be, I want to one day have $2 million. That's all good. Play to that game and put a plan next to it. Play to that game, but don't constantly compare yourself to other people. Okay, next, index. A lot of people say, well, as long as you beat the index. Okay, as long as you beat the index. I am more concerned of beating my goals than I am about beating the index. I'm not worried about beating the index. I'm worried about beating my goals. What is my goal? What is the deadline? I want to beat that number because it's mine. That's what I'm committed to. What is my deadline? I'm committed to this. I'm not committed to the index. I'm committed to this. Maybe I need to do a lot more than what the index is doing, because this is why I'm in business. In business, I can control the amount of growth I'm going to have on my income. I can't control if I'm studying just the index and the index is going 11.9%. I beat it 2.3%, but that's going to take me a long time for me to get over here. No. Play your game, beat your goals instead of trying to beat the index only. 15, befriend moneymakers. I'll tell you why befriend moneymakers that you trust. If you're around other people that know how to make money, you're going to make money. It's just kind of how things work out. If you're around people that know how to make money, you're generally going to make money. If you're around people that don't even know how to make money or don't even make a lot of money, you're not going to make a lot of money. You know, so know who you're going into business with, know who you're doing things with. Sometimes things seem too sweet or sexy and all this stuff, but you don't know the person. I don't touch any of that stuff. It's important for me to know who I'm going to be doing business with. I hire very slowly, very slow. I fire very fast. The moment I'm done with somebody, boom, gone. 4 people we employ, fire in a day, no problem. I can't do this, the tolerance is not in the right place, we can't do this, we need to move on. But I hire slowly, especially the higher up it is. The more I travel with the person to get to know them. Same exact thing when it comes down to here. Whoever you're going to do business with, befriend them, travel with them. If somebody's extremely wealthy, go to dinner with them, get to know their wives, see how they're around their kids, kind of see their standards of living, see their discipline, see their behavior, and then say, I like this person, I like what their friends say about him, I like how his cousin talks, I like how this is a person I can do money and business with.
You can only have two things in life, reasons or results. Notice, reasons don't count. Right? So, folks will always point out reasons in life on why they're not living their dreams, on why they're not manifesting their greatness. They will always be able to point those things out, but none of those things count. The only thing that counts is the result.